Hey guys, welcome to Ask Auntie Nella Live. While we're waiting, I'm gonna wait for some people to log on and get some followers on here. But our discussion tonight is gonna be why do women cheat? And I wanted to do why do women cheat because I feel like sometimes we beat up men a lot about cheating, but women cheat as well. So we want to make sure that we're not just beating up on the men. We're also connecting with the women because we want to touch bases on that as well. And then we have the After Dark. And After Dark will be after this 30-minute segment on the relationships. And it's going to be my husband is pressuring me to be more sexual. I'm shy and not sure what to do. So we're going to tackle that in the After Dark. Make sure you go to my YouTube channel. It's Ask Auntie Nella with a period after Nella. Don't forget to share friends. Don't forget to invite friends. Say hi when you get on there so I can say hi back to you as well. But we did have Beyond the Standards this weekend. Beyond the Standards was fantastic. Enjoyed it. When they said we're going to be breaking some barriers, that's exactly what happened. Barriers was broken. There were some phenomenal speakers. The speakers were awesome. They poured into, the women were there. The event was sold out. So kudos to all the people here in Minnesota or people that came out of town, because there were some people that came out of town to the event, and truly enjoyed it and loved some feedback. My counterpart, she's getting a little rest tonight. She had a long weekend in regards to her Beyond the Standards, so she's getting some rest tonight. So with that said, when you log on, like I said, don't forget to say hi so I can say hi back. And once we get a couple of people on there, we'll get started. Don't forget my t-shirts are still out there. They're $20 if you want to buy one and it's out of state. Make sure you add $3 to the $20 and then I will ship it. Make sure you include your address. Make sure you include the size. Make sure you include the size, the type of shirt you want.
Hi, Rhonda.
So make sure, hey guys.
I think we can start. We have 6 people.
All right, guys, let's get with it. So I'm going to repeat the topic again. So the topic is why do women cheat? Well, women could cheat for, abundance of reason, no different than a man. A man can cheat for abundance of reason. It can be you're cheating that you're not being fulfilled in the bedroom by your husband, or you're not being respected, or you feel like you're not loved. The other thing that I think a lot of women do is sometimes we put pressure on ourselves, and sometimes we put a thought process in our head without discussing it with our spouse, and we may take a chance in doing something that may hurt us in the end by cheating. So, an example, I may think, I'm not doing enough in the bed, I'm not pleasing my husband. But if my husband's not saying that to me, why am I putting that pressure on me? So it's important, you hear me talk a lot about communication. It's important to communicate to understand why. Another thing is you just want to make sure you understand. If that's the case, if that's a situation, you want to make sure you understand what's going on, why you feeling this way, why the thought process is there. It's okay to have a conversation with your husband. You don't ever want to go, or your wife. You don't ever want to go or put yourself in a position where your mind is weighed down so heavy on all these things that's not true. And that can happen. And then you do something and find out that you did something and none of what was in your head was truth. So you want to reach out to your spouse and find out, hey, am I pleasing you? Be honest. Everybody can't be as upfront as I am. I'm just very upfront. I'll ask the question. But if you're not, just, shoot an email maybe when you get to work, or a text and say, hey, honey, you know what? I got a lot on my mind, but I just want to ask these few questions because I want to make sure, I'm pleasing you. I want to make sure that we're connecting as one. So that's important to make sure that you're doing that as well. Another thing is try some new things. Make sure you try some new things. Try some new things with your spouse. And if you feel like he's not feeling it, ask the question. Women cheat just as much as men. Like I said, women will cheat because maybe they don't feel respected. If you don't feel respected, have that conversation. Don't use cheating as a mechanism to feel like, oh, I'm cheating because he disrespected me, or she disrespected me. Don't do cheating because you don't feel like you're pleasing, he's pleasing you. You never know if he's willing to fulfill your pleasure if you don't ask the question. So ask the question and be upfront and honest, because like I said, the worst feeling in the world is to go out and cheat and then find out what you cheated for, because what's in your mind that's weighing down your mind caused you to cheat, and find out that it's none of that is true. None of it is true. So make sure you're connecting within yourself and you're asking the questions in your head as well. I personally, hear a lot about, oh, we talk a lot about men cheating. We don't talk a lot about women cheating. Women cheat too. Yep, women cheat too. Women have the same faults that a man would have, and so that's why it's key in any situation or any relationship, whether it's male or female. You have to have a conversation, because cheating could ultimately cause the demise of a marriage that you may not be looking to have happen, or he may not be looking to have happen, but that might be his bottom line, or that might be your or her bottom line to say, you know what, cheating is a no-no for me. I can't move forward at this point. So you just have to make sure when you're stepping out there, whether it's male or female, you stepping out and you know what you're getting yourself into. I don't care how you crumble the cookie. It doesn't feel good. I always tell people, put themselves in a place of that person who's been cheated on. How would you feel? Reverse the role. How would you feel as a female and you're cheated? How would you feel as a female and that male cheated on you? That doesn't change for a male. He has the same feelings. He's going to feel neglected. He's going to feel betrayed. So you just never know how they're going to respond to your cheating. So you just want to make sure you're up on the right level to know that if you cheat and you choose to cheat and you get caught cheating, or she gets caught cheating, that person might say, nope, I'm done. I can't move forward. It's a hard battle from a male or a female to fight through a cheating. You have to be a strong-minded, strong-willing person to get through that. Because here's the thing. If your mate cheat on you, whether it's male or female, you're going to go through a lot of emotion. You're going to go to blaming yourself. You're going to go to being angry at him. You're going to want to lash out at him. You're going to start self-checking everything about you. Well, wasn't I good enough? Or he's going to think the same thing, maybe I wasn't good enough for her, or maybe I wasn't doing, something right in the bed. There's a ton of emotion that comes along with that. And I will tell you, it is exhausting. And so this is why it's important you have a conversation before you ever get to the point to let somebody else entertain you and not really force you into a situation, but put you in a place to make you feel like, oh, he's making me or she's making me feel really good. So you know what? I'm going to take that bait and I'm going to cheat. You don't want to do that, because the bitter taste that you may have in your mouth when you decide, or you've gotten caught, you decide to share or, fess up to your spouse, your wife or husband, fess up to them. It's a tough battle, because you don't know their thought process. You don't know what their bottom line is. You never know until you reveal it. Once you reveal it, unfortunately, whatever their bottom line is, you have to suck it up and be a big girl and accept it. Or he has to suck it up and be a big boy and accept whatever the outcome. If you choose to say, I'm done, if he chooses to say, I'm done, you have to honor that, because you broke a trust that maybe that person is at the point in their life, once you break that trust, I'm done. You can't convince them any other way. So you just have to live with it. It's important to, make sure you communicate. I say this a lot, and I use communication a lot, because communication is important. Communication will be the demise of a marriage or a relationship before you can start it, if you don't watch out. If you're not open enough, if you're not smart enough to be like, you know what, I need to have some communication. I need to share this with my spouse. I need to share this with my, my partner. I need to let them know how I'm feeling. So if you're not willing to talk it out, you can't have longevity in a relationship. You won't have longevity in a relationship. You can't have longevity in a marriage, and you won't have longevity in a marriage. So it's important to make sure on either end of the spectrum, whether it's a male or female, it's key and it's important that before you decide to make that decision, and this is a decision that you should not make, and decide, you know what, I'm in a marriage, but he's not giving me what I want, so I'm going to cheat and go elsewhere. Nope. that's not fair to him, or that's not fair to her. You have to give that person a chance. And if you choose at that point that they're not, if you've had a conversation with them and they're not fulfilling some of the things that you're asking them to fulfill, continue to, encourage them and give them a chance. Don't exit the marriage, or don't exit the relationship just like that, or don't cheat. If you've done everything you can in your marriage and you feel at that point that you can't move forward, that's a decision that you and your spouse have to make. But cheating will never be the answer. I promise you, whether it's male or female, cheating will not be your answer. Because at the end, there's going to be hurt. There's going to be heartache. There's going to be, mistrust for sure. Trust is a hard thing to get past. And then to have cheating added into that, it even adds a little bit more to the equation. So it's always important to make sure you're communicating, so you don't ever get to this point to be like, you know what, I cheated because he didn't do this for me, or she cheated because she didn't give me what I was looking for. If you never gave your spouse or your partner the chance to correct that behavior or do some of the things that you're looking for, then you can't expect that, I went out and cheated because he didn't fulfill what I wanted him to fulfill. If he didn't know it, how can he fulfill that? So it's important to communicate and know and be direct and say what you're looking for. If you're in a sex session and he's not giving you what you're looking for, or if you guys are in a conversation and, he's disrespecting you, or he's not saying the things that you feel like is respectable to you, then you have to be honest and say, you know what, I think that's very disrespectful. You know what I'm saying? I give you the same respect, and I want the same respect in return. And continue to have those big girl conversation and big boys conversation, because we are adults. Who said marriage and relationships was going to be easy? Nobody. I will tell you, being married and being with my husband, being married for 24 years and being in a relationship with him for 29 years, it's not an easy, it will never, you will have ups and downs. And to me, those ups and downs allow you to have the strength to move forward. Because you know what? Anything that I anything that I dealt with in the past, I appreciate it, because you know what? It's giving me wisdom. It's giving me strength to move forward. It's giving me insight to know and see some of the things that, you know what? Oh, that might be a problem. Let me, tackle this right now up front and personal, because I don't want it in the end to come back and haunt me. So you learn some stuff by going through what you go through. It's important to go through. You can't go through, life and not have dealt with something and say, you know what, I'm okay. I haven't had any problems with my husband. We're just doing fine. I haven't had any problems, in my relationship. We're just doing fine. There's nobody you can tell me that there's not one person that lives in this world and they've never had one argument. Their marriage have been perfect. Their relationship have been perfect. Let me tell you something. If that person is in your circle, you need to move around and exit that person out your circle, because there's not a person in this world that can tell me that their relationship is perfect. There's no way that their relationship is perfect. It can't be, because we're humans and you're gonna make mistakes. You're gonna say things that you shouldn't say. You're gonna, do things that you shouldn't do, but it's important. It's important, and it's imperative that you have a communication, an open communication, an open dialogue between you and your mate and between you and your spouse, because again, that's key. That keeps the relationship going. It keeps the marriage going. So with that said, do you guys have any questions for me out there? I know I was rambling on a little bit.
We don't have any questions.
All right, let me just, I want to, just play, I just want to play the devil advocate a little bit. Well, I've talked to my husband, and my husband, still's not getting me. He's not understanding where I'm coming from. So you know what? Because of that, I decided to go out and cheat. The bottom line to that answer is, who are you hurting? In the end, when it's all said and done, you're hurting you. In the end, you may think that you're fulfilling something in that process because you're doing something and you're cheating, and somebody else is conversating with you and telling you the things that you like. In the end, I promise you, in the end, you're hurting nobody but yourself. You're not hurting him. You're hurting him in a sense of you betrayed him, But you're going to hurt yourself even more when you have that conversation and you've talked to him and find out that's something that he could have changed, but you didn't give him the opportunity to change it. And so because you didn't give him the opportunity to change it, then now you've made an ultimate no. And now you're going to feel like a fool in the end. Like, why did I do that? Why didn't I have a conversation? Why didn't I try to figure out? Why didn't I wait? Who said life and things were going to change at the blink of an eye? That's the issue that I have with today's society when it comes to marriage. Divorce is so easy for people. People are like, you know what? He didn't give me what I want. I'm tired of him. So I'm done. I'm out of this. If that's your out, then you never set yourself up to have a great marriage. You was not ready for the fight. You wasn't ready for the fight. Because if you were ready for the fight, it wouldn't take you that quick to make a decision. I always say, if you've done everything you can do, I mean everything. You've been clear with your spouse. You've been directed with your husband. You've been direct with your husband. You've shared everything that you need to share. You've tried. You've done everything that you can do. And you feel okay. You've done everything. And I mean everything that you can do to keep your marriage moving and fighting on. But if it's you by yourself doing it, then it can't move on. Then it's okay. That's a decision that you have to make if that's what you want to do. But I find that most people use divorce as an easy exit. And then what they do is once they divorce, then they're out looking for the next Mr. Right to marry. And so on, and that behavior continues to happen. Because if you never learn one thing from one marriage, and then you divorce and you try to move on to another marriage, it's not going to be completed. You're not going to be complete when it comes to it. Because at the end of the day, all you're doing is no different in a relationship. You're jumping marriage after marriage after marriage to fulfill you. But you've never addressed the issues. That's why it's always key to make sure before you move on from relationship to relationship, you clean the slate. And excuse me. By doing that, you are a better you for the next person that comes your way. If you never do that, then you're carrying ugly baggage onto each relationship. And I promise you, you will sink a battleship with all that baggage and you guys will not be able to move forward. So it's always key to work on you after you're finished a relationship. It's always key to work on you and try to figure out, what did I learn from this? Or what didn't I learn from this, demise of my marriage or demise of my relationship? Try to connect with yourself to figure out what went wrong. What could I have done better? What was missing? Take some of those things. That's what I mean when I say take time to work on you. It's important to work on you.
We have Maya Morrison that wrote, yes, this is true. Raynell also wrote, great topic.
Yeah. It's important to work on you because you know what? I said this, I think, in last Monday's session. I could have a Mr. Right standing right next to me. But because I'm carrying so much baggage from a previous relationship and so much scar tissue from a previous relationship, I don't realize that I have a Mr. Right that's sitting right beside me and mean well to me because I'm so focused on what Mr. Wrong did me that now, as soon as Mr. Right made one move that looks similar to what Mr. Wrong did, bam, I'm on top of Mr. Right. I'm on top of him. So then what happens is I turn Mr. Right into Mr. Wrong. So my blessing could have been there, but I kicked that blessing away because I wasn't ready. I never took the time to work on me. I never took the time to figure out what went wrong in my first relationship. Sometimes when you're cheated on or you're mistreated, what happens is you carry so much hurt. And a lot of times what happens is people tend to think, you know what, I'm hurt. He did that to me, but you know what, I can move forward. I'm going to be good. No, you're not, because that hurt's going to turn into anger. You're going to have the Mr. Right doing one little thing that's similar to what Mr. Wrong did. Bam, your anger. So now he's getting everything that Mr. Wrong didn't get, but he's getting it. And so that's why it's key to work on yourself. It's important to take that time to connect with you and figure out who you are. Because if you can figure out who you are and your slate is clean, you're ready to move to the next step.
We have a comment. It says some women cheat because they want attention and they are some filthy HOEs. Not all. Parentheses. Not all.
Yep. Some women do. Some women love just an attention that they're getting from the man. And so I always say, if that attention that person is giving you and you're feeling fuzzy inside when that person's giving you that attention, then have a conversation with your mate and say, you know what, I think there's some stuff that we're missing. You used to give this to me in the beginning of the relationship, but now, I don't know what's wrong. Maybe we need to, hit the reset button and, and start this thing all over again so we can get back to the basics. It's okay to do that. But if you don't ever have a conversation and you're seeking for attention from other men or other women because you feel like your spouse is not giving you what you're looking for, but you haven't shared that with your spouse, that's unfair. That's unfair to him or her. Because if you've not shared that with them, then you can't expect them to know that it's an issue or concern of yours. And they can't fix it. So if you decide to go out and cheat, you're cheating for your own good. You're not cheating because you saying it's something he did. You never gave him the opportunity because you never shared it. You never shared it with them. So then once you figure you done decided to move on to, this new person that's giving you all the attention, you cheating with that new person, you get caught. Now you feel crazy because you know what? I had this perfect man, this perfect marriage that all I needed to do was have a conversation, press that reset button, fix it, and we could have moved forward. But now I'm dealing with a situation now. I can't talk to my husband now because I got this cheating, thing on my back. I can't talk to him and have no conversation with him now because it's too late. But now your boo thing that you thought was your, Mr. Right in your, knight in shining armor is the person who, is going to stick by you. Bam, he's gone.
We also have some women cheat because they're simply a cheater in everyone else's eyes, but in her eyes, she's getting what she's not getting at home. Correct. Then we also have Danisha Morgan. How do you know you are ready for another relationship?
One thing I will tell you is how you know you're ready for a new relationship is when the bitterness is gone. If you still harbor any bitterness from a previous relationship, then you're not ready to move on because you haven't taken the time to release that. And what I mean by that is whatever hurt or pain or abuse or anything that previous relationship put on you, if you have not cleaned that slate clear, and what I mean is if you see them today or tomorrow, you can walk past them, speak, and keep it moving and have no problem, then that means you're ready for a new relationship. But if you see them and you're frowning up and be like, you know what, I can't stand them, don't say nothing to me, blah, 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 you're still bitter. You have to get rid of the bitterness. You have to get rid of the self-hurt because here's what you're doing. You're beating yourself up. You're self-hurting yourself. And what I mean by that is you're constantly instilling this hurt on you because you're keeping it at the forefront of your mind. It takes a lot of energy for any person to hold on to bitterness. It takes a lot of energy. It takes a lot. It weighs a lot down on you. You struggle because you're constantly thinking about it. You have to shake it off and move forward. Break that barrier and move forward. Release it and let it go. Break that chain, release it, let it go. You're going to feel a whole lot better. When you've gone past that, then you know you're ready for a new relationship because you have no bitter feelings and you harbor no hard feelings towards the person who did those things to you. Because when you do that, when you're holding that bitterness, you're holding yourself hostage to your past. And no one deserves to hold themselves hostage to their past. So it's key and it's important to make sure you take time to self. Just like, you hear a lot of people say, you know what, we need to, sit down in the corner and take time to meditate with God, and connect with God. You need to make sure while you're connecting with God, you're also connecting with yourself to make sure you're getting ready. Ask God to help you release some of this stuff. Ask Him to help you release the bitterness. Ask Him to help you, release this. Sometimes we hold on to it because we're shameful. You know what I'm saying? That's the thing that we do. We're shameful. We're embarrassed. How did I let this happen to me? But don't ever allow somebody to allow you to hold on to hurt that they created on you. Because when you do that, the problem that you run into is you hurt you. So you want to make sure you're doing everything you need to do what's right. I'm just going to do a quick recap here. My goal for this one was to try to, share with women that just because you were hurt, and men too, I'm not just going to say men, I'm just going to say women as well. Men as well. When you're hurt, it's important to release the hurt. Don't own it. Don't hold on to it. You have to release it. Because if you don't release it from a bad relationship and you hold on to that bitterness, you're holding yourself hostage to that person. And I can almost guarantee you, the person who put that hurt on you has moved on with their life. It's no longer important for you to hold on to it. It's no longer important for you to harbor bad feelings, because at the end of the day, guess who they have to face? They have to face the same God you and I have to face. So let them deal with that. That's something that, they have to deal with. Don't continue to allow your life to be unhappy or you're hurt through the process. I want you to go through the trenches. I want you to go through the pain, because those trenches and those pains are going to give you strength to know when you see the next person who display those things, you're going to know, nope, I'm curving that ball. I'm going the opposite way. So you want to go through it, but you don't want to hold on to it. Holding on to it adds no value to your life. You're uniquely made. You're made by God. You deserve to be happy, and you will be blessed with your Mr. Right. So with that being said, I'm going to say never cheat. Never, ever cheat. If that's something in your mind that you decide to do, you want to make sure you have a conversation with your spouse and give your marriage every avenue to be able to flourish. But if you decide that's not the right thing for you and your spouse, and you decide to exit your marriage, don't cheat while you're with your husband, because again, you're not adding value to yourself. It's better to release that situation, work on you, and then find your Mr. Right. All right? I want you guys to tune in right after this. We're going to come back with After Dark. And After Dark is my husband is pressuring me into be sexual. I'm shy and I'm not sure what to do. So we're going to tackle that next one. So I want you guys to join back in on the After Dark. Invite some people. Let some people know that Auntie Nella is coming back on After Dark. Send me some love. Again, I have my t-shirts. You can go on Ask Auntie Nella page. You'll see the t-shirts that I have. I have them in black and white, just like this one. I also have the one where you're walking your destiny gracefully. That's another one I have. I have that one in black and white as well. Don't forget to go to my YouTube channel. Don't forget to go to my YouTube channel and subscribe. I do download the videos on there. The YouTube channel is up to date with all the videos. Tonight I'll download these videos tonight. But with that being said, have a fabulous night and make sure you tune into After Dark. Thanks, guys.